This shipwreck stands as a remembrance of the thousands of lives that perished throughout the city of Tacloban on that day. Let this memorial remind us, all of us, not only just leaders of our country, that in times of despair, in times of a disaster, it's always time to unite. At the end of the day, nasa isang barko lang talaga tayo.
Well, of course, we've talked about this, but in the past, it really never occurred to me that I would continue doing my husband's job. But then, of course, talking with my husband, being my husband, syempre, he has to be the one to also approve, you know, mag-asawa, we talk about it. He would want me to continue the stuff he still needs to continually do because there's really still much to do, especially after what happened after the aftermath of 2013 Storm Yolanda. Although many things have changed and the city has been moving forward, there's still much to do.
Ako talaga yung pinakamahirap at yung walang pera na mambabatas. Ayaw ko ngang tumakbo bilang mayor. Meron pa akong isang term. Nung pinag-uusapan namin kung sinong tatakbo, ako sabi ko, nagvo-volunteer ako tumakbo kesa walang tatakbo sa oposisyon. At ako'y hinimok ng urban poor sector na tumakbo. Sa Yolanda experience, kami dito, hindi sana siguro libu-libong buhay ang namatay kung yung forced evacuation ordinance in-implement yun nung mangyari ang Yolanda. Kaya maraming mga pamilya na nasa bahay lang.
To 11 o'clock that night, we were going around and evacuating people and convincing people to leave their homes. And many evacuated. But there are just some, I guess, who didn't want to leave their homes.
Bakit hindi ipinatupad ang forced evacuation ordinance?
We didn't use the word forced in that ordinance. I remember when we passed that ordinance, we didn't use the word forced. You can't force anyone or drag anyone forcibly out of their house.
So you're saying, sir, that there's blood on the hands of the Tacloban mayor?
Meron.
No, the mayor didn't even sleep that night.
Alam kong nagsisikap rin siya maipaabot ang serbisyo sa ating mga mamamayan sa Tacloban. Pero ito ay kulang, lalong-lalo na sa mga mahihirap. Parang isang doktor na nagbigay ng resita pero hindi man lang tiningnan yung pasyente.
He could have just turned his back and said, you know, I'm done with this and I'm just gonna, you know, he didn't have to stay here and continue. But he sacrificed his days, his time, all his efforts being here, staying here, just to make sure that everything goes back to normal and things start rising up again.
Yung paglipat sa libu-libong pamilya from the coastal barangays ng mabilisan, pagkatapos sasabihin ng local government unit, tigil muna kasi wala palang tubig eh.
Well, yes, there's a lot of problems when it comes to relocation. Definitely, you can't relocate without having proper water supply, electric supply, and all that. But it's all being addressed.
Yung sinasabi ng mga pamilya dito, ma'am, bago mangyari ang isa pang malaking kalamidad. Baka mamatay na sila sa gutom eh. Natural, mahalaga yung buhay. Pero kung hindi yun na ipapaliwanag ng mabuti, marami ng pamilya nandun sa northern part of the city. Meron ring umaalis eh. Bumabalik.
Is it true that there is little discourse between the local government and the urban poor in terms of their future?
I think I don't think that's true. I think they do get to communicate and they get to talk to my husband. So, but if it's lacking, then we can solve that, then we can talk. So I'm open to that.
Interior Secretary Mar Rojas hits Tacloban Mayor Alfred Romualdez for releasing what he called an edited video of a meeting held after Typhoon Yolanda, known internationally as Haiyan. The video was released on social media after an emotional Romualdez said national government refused to take over rescue efforts in Tacloban unless he signed an ordinance to allow it.
Understand, you're going to want this. And the president is an Aquino. So we just want to legalize this. Now, if it's not legalized, then okay, you're in charge and we help you. And that's it.
Romualdez is a relative of former First Lady Imelda Romualdez Marcos, whose husband jailed the father of President Benigno Aquino. In a press conference, Rojas says he only wanted to clarify the division of work between the national government and local officials to avoid finger-pointing. Rojas adds, huge chunks of the conversation were removed on purpose. This malicious video was released to cover up Romualdez's own mistakes. Rojas says Aquino is careful about being misconstrued because people might think politics was involved in post-typhoon efforts. The government drew criticism for slow relief operations in the hours immediately after the typhoon, but Rojas blames it on local governments who failed to explain what they needed from national government. The conflict between Rojas and Romualdez is the latest in a growing list of squabbles between national and local government over typhoon relief efforts. Aquino and Romualdez traded accusations after the president said that the Tacloban government did not prepare for the typhoon.
Nahaluan kasi dito ng politika. Imbis na makipagtulungan, makipag-ugnayan, batikos ng batikos yung aming chief executive sa national government.
Do you feel that the political controversy after Yolanda between the national government and the local government may have gotten in the way of perhaps more efficient service?
I can't answer that.
Kung humihingi ka ng tulong, di ba, normal lang naman na makiusap ka.
Maybe it was a misunderstanding, and on my husband's part, he just wanted to make sure that the people would get what they needed at that time.
Kung meron mang kabagalan, kung itatanong natin, ba't nangyari yun? Isa ng cause nyon yung bangayan.
I don't want to blame anyone. I don't want to say anything about anyone. Actually, I think he did what he had to do. It was right.
Would you have done the same thing?
Maybe.
Sa totoo, hindi iniwan ng national government ang Tacloban. Kumanga rin ako kay Secretary Mar Rojas dahil siya lang yung cabinet member na nandito na experience niya kung gaano kapait yung Yolanda.
Sino ang iboboto niyong presidente?
Si Grace po.
Would you vote for Mar Rojas?
I can't say na I'm still choosing who to vote for.
Bakit hindi po niyo iboboto si Mar Rojas na para sa inyo po ay magaling?
Personal ko yun. Merong desisyon ng grupo. Yung pagtakbo ko sa NPC, desisyon yun ng grupo. At I have to abide.
Kung naging alkalde po kayo ng Tacloban, mas magiging magaling po ba ang pagpapatakbo niyo kaysa kay Alfred Romualdez?
Yun ang pagsisikapan na kung ano man ang mga pagkakamali ng liderato ngayon, makorekt yun.
In what fashion will your term be better than your husband's?
Maybe because he started it already, so it's like he planted the seeds, you know. So when you plant the seeds, the plant starts growing, and then the more you water that plant, you know, it blooms, it gets bigger. So I think that's how I like to look at it. People here are resilient. That's what I can say, especially after Yolanda. It's just like a rubber band. Stretch them and just go back, you know.
Ang isang Taclobanon ay mabait, masipag, subalit merong tendency na susunod lang ng susunod. Medyo may kahirapan sa paninindigan. Yun ang challenge na maintindihan at maisapuso ang kahalagahan ng pagbabago.
Would it be possible to say that you understand the needs of the urban poor?
I think so. I think so.
Palagay po ba niyo may pag-asa kayong manalo?
Merong tsansa.
Si Cristina Romualdez po ba ay kwalipikado maging alkalde ng Tacloban?
Hindi ako naniniwalang makakayanan niya ang pagpatakbo ng Tacloban.
Do you believe you'd make a good mayor?
Well, maybe on my own, I can't say, I can't really say that to myself, I'm going to be a good mayor, but really by the grace of God, I believe, giving me more wisdom and more knowledge with good advisors, and my husband being there to advise me as well. So with all that put together, I guess I can do my best. Ako hi Cristina Gonzales-Romualdez, madalagan ako pagka-mayor ha Tacloban City. Di nila bangon, better.
Kung better nala, kaya nung nga diri kita itong best